Hello there, it is Pete over at the Sampleist, and today we are checking out Majestic Brass Soloists from Fracture Sounds. In their fourth release of the Soloist Series, Fracture Sounds are giving the brass section much love and attention. Instead of going for all-out bombastic orchestral brass, Majestic Brass Soloists focuses on lyrical legato with bold yet warm character. Perfect for more expressive and intimate scoring with a little bite when required. With 2 legato styles per instrument and multiple articulations, Majestic Brass Soloists is something that little bit different. Majestic Brass Soloist downloads at 15.8 gigabytes and it runs in the free version of Kontakt. It is also NKS compatible. It's currently on intro price of £115. In this video, we're going to check out the sounds, the articulations, the functionality of Majestic Brass Soloist, and then of course, I've created a composition. I'd like to take the opportunity to thank Fracture Sounds for sending over a copy of the library. While we do get the libraries for free, it doesn't in any way influence our thoughts, ideas or judgments. We are just working composers giving you our insights. And if you've not done so already, please do hit that subscribe button. It has just appeared on the screen. Without further ado, let's check out Majestic Brass Soloists. Here we are, we have Majestic Brass Soloists from Fracture Sounds loaded up in the free Kontakt Player 8. And we're going to start off with the trumpet. Absolutely beautiful. The first thing that grabs you is the sampling. It just sounds so clean, so detailed. And that legato is incredible. Amazing. And the vibrato is very progressive, and I've got a thing about vibrato, it sounds so natural. Now, in every instrument you get 2 different legato types. So the instruments, we've got trumpet, French horn, trombone, tuba and ensemble. So I'm going to play through all of those. Obviously there's no legato in the ensemble for this library. However, in the trumpet, this one's slightly different. We got legato with vibrato, and then we've got non-vibrato. So I'm letting those sustain so we can hear the difference. And of course I'm playing the full range of the trumpet as well. Absolutely amazing. So let's look at some other articulations. However, for me, I do a lot of spaghetti western and I use solo brass a lot, and this is going straight in my next spaghetti western piece. Sustain vibrato. And the dynamic range is incredible as well. Beautiful. And then we've got sustain non-vibrato. Lovely. Staccato. Absolutely beautiful. Tonito. Amazing. Tonito long. And then performance shorts. And you can hear the different dynamics going on as well. So it's very responsive to velocity. Lovely. So that is the trumpet, and we've got different controls. So we're going to talk about different controls when we look at the French horn. So that's just loading up. I'm running off an SSD, so not an NVMe for this one, and it's loading very, very quickly. So French horn. Now let's go with legato. And it's got that edge, that bite, if you need it. Lovely. Now this one has a mellow legato, which is a bit more subdued. I'll play the low G. Just love that richness. So that is the slight difference between the trumpet, because it's got a non-vibrato, and then we have very, very similar sustains as well. So we've got mellow sustains this time. And in contrast, absolutely beautiful. And staccato. I love those dynamics. Beautiful. Let's look at the trombone. So I've just skipped a few shorts here, but I will play them on the trombone. Beautiful. Now, on the trombone, of course, the legato, we have standard. Yeah. Sorry, I went a bit Revenge of the Nerds there. Yeah, legato, amazing. Okay, so obviously the breathing's there as well, because we want our brass players to stay alive. Always useful. Legato, mellow. It really reminds me of kind of like Steven Seagal movie from the 80s, where it's got like a orchestral pad in the background and then a solo, normally in Mixolydian mode. So that is the trombone. If we just do some tenuto. I'll do a little bit of staccato. Lovely. Let's talk about the controls. So, of course, you see me using the mod wheel for dynamics. Now, you can adjust the colour as well. So, if I've got legato on, let's hold that D note. So you can always change the brightness, which is great. The stereo width. Now, one thing I will say, these have been recorded in situ. So as I've been going through the different instruments, you can hear they're in their orchestral seating, and you can see it down here as well. So you can move that around. You can adjust that there as well. But I'm just going to change the stereo width. And then, of course, you can adjust reverb as well and put different types on. So I'm going to go for a really big, let's do a convolution. Let's go for big old hall. Now I'm getting that 80s vibe. Absolutely brilliant. So let's have a quick look at the tuba. Tuba is absolutely fantastic. Obviously holds down the low end incredibly well. And we can talk about different mics there as well, which is good. So the legato on the tuba is absolutely stunning. It's going to change. Tuba. There we go. So legato. And then you've got a mellow legato. And for me, it's a very warm instrument anyway. Beautiful. And staccato. Now you can adjust the perspective on this slider as well. So again, I'm just going to play a G note here. If you want to be really close, you can make it really close. If you want to be really far, you can do that too. So it's a really quick way of adjusting the close, mid and far mics. But of course you can do that yourself and do kind of a custom, the little perspective graphic changes. There we go. Other little things you can do as well, really quickly. So we've got, obviously, you can adjust the different custom position of the placement of the instrument and then the center stereo. So it's all fixed. And what's the other thing? Legato. Sorry, it's right in front of me, and I was like, what am I looking at next? Mode. So legato. This is, I believe it's a new feature within these libraries. Now, the latency is 150 milliseconds, so you've got the gorgeous start of the sample. It doesn't just kind of like cut in. You can set the negative delay. Now, I've already composed this instrument, and I did actually adjust it down to 130 milliseconds because I was using other instruments that were in, still from Fractured Sounds, but I set to 130 milliseconds, so... but you can sort of do classic, and you can change the speed of the legato as well. So for me, the Smart is really useful. And then you can adjust the dynamic range, so depending on the controller you're using, if you're using the new kontakt tools with the dynamic curve, they're very cool. And of course, every articulation can have a key switch as well. So the key switches are down here in red. So if I quickly go down to those, you can see that I'm changing between them. So if you want to work just on one track and use key switches, you can. Personally, I like to just load up loads of them and have an articulation per track, but that's just me. So that is Majestic Brass Soloists in a nutshell. Do check out the Fractured Sounds walkthroughs. They'll go into probably a little bit more depth than me, but you get the idea. Now, what do I take away from this? Because this is quite a quick playthrough. The sound of these instruments is incredible. They are gorgeous, and we can sort of load the ensemble and hear everything together. Now, we'll see there's only 6 articulations because there is no legato, but just these chords. So I'm on sustains. Ooh. I'm really low down because I was doing the key switches. I think they sound gorgeous. And of course, when I'm writing, I wouldn't just be playing triads or inversions. I would like to use sort of more spread out. More spread out arrangements. But for the purpose of the video, I've got to control it. Otherwise, it doesn't really work. When I say it doesn't work, from a composer's viewpoint, you want that dynamic sound, which Majestic Brass really does deliver. So you can see the dynamic range of that is absolutely stunning. So that's what I mean. The instrument is wonderful. The playing, as in me on the keyboard. I wish I had more hands so I could spread out some arrangements. It's going a little bit bizarre, I'll be honest. So we've got the mellow sustains. Now I do use these in the composition. It just reminds me of Christmas. Seeing a brass band. So I live in an area where brass bands are very well celebrated. So I see them quite often. And the staccato. Apart from the last note, is stunning. And if I don't want any latency, you can turn it off. But I feel like you're missing like the richness of the sample. So I'm a bit too far there. And performance shorts. Absolutely gorgeous. And I'll play a long tonito as well. And again, you can hear that sort of raspy edge when you're at the high dynamics and you're in the ensemble. So, yeah, that is the entire Majestic Brass. So my initial thoughts when I play through it, I can't wait to compose with it. I know exactly what I want to do. I want to do some kind of emotive writing, but I want the lines to weave. But then I started thinking, well, I want to see how these instruments work with other libraries as well. So I've used quite a few different Fracture Sounds libraries. We've got the Midnight Grand. We also have the soft string soloists. I put a cello and a violin in there, and also the some string textures. I can't remember which library I took them from, but they're gorgeous. They're like kind of whispers, which are in the middle section. So every instrument has a solo, and then I combine some. Then I've got some melodies, counter melodies. I've just really enjoyed composing with it. And the composition took me about an hour because it's one of those that's really, really inspiring because the instruments just sound so good. And let's listen to it, and then we can talk about my closing thoughts. On with the music. Once again, we're at the closing thought section of the video, and we're talking about Majestic Brass Soloists from Fracture Sounds. For me, it's always about the composition. How does the instrument interact within itself with the different instruments on the ensemble, and then, of course, with other libraries? What is it like to compose with? Is it easy to program, easy to play? And the answer is yes, it is fantastic. It works so well in a composition setting. The brass never sounds too subdued or too over the top and brash. It's got that sweet spot where it's lyrical, it's upfront, it's present, but it's not overpowering. And I use the two different legato types. So the more warm legato when it was more emotive passages, and then of course the full legato when I wanted to bring the soloists together. So the last section, all the soloists are playing, they're intertwining, and it sounds brilliant. And of course I threw in some of the solo strings, the soft strings from Fracture Sounds, and some of the textures, the string textures as well. And of course I use my old faithful, the Midnight Grand as well, which is absolutely gorgeous, one of my favourite pianos. It's just beautiful and it's inspiring, and it focuses on that kind of middle ground for brass. So if you want over the top orchestral, it's going to sit on top of a 180-piece orchestra. This isn't really the brass that's going to do that. But for scoring, for underscore, for cinematic work, for pop work, just anywhere where you just want this lyrical brass, it's, yeah, absolutely brilliant. So it is a massive recommendation. £115. For me, like I say, I'd pay that just for the legato alone, but all the extra articulations and of course the programming and different layers, etc. Absolutely brilliant. So for me, yeah, get it. You'll absolutely love it. All that leaves me to say is thank you so much to Fracture Sounds for sending over a copy of Majestic Brass Soloists ahead of time, so I had plenty of time to play with it and work with it. If you like what you heard, feel free to leave a like on the video, and of course let us know, have you picked up Majestic Brass Soloists, because it's just come out today at the release of this video. Maybe you use a lot of other Fracture Sounds libraries and we'll talk about that as well. Let's get a chat going, and of course if you've not done so, please check out our other videos on YouTube. We've got nearly 600 now, so really growing for just under 3 years. That's pretty good going. And then of course please hit that subscribe button. It's the best way to support us. We don't have any kind of advertising deals, affiliate links. We just make these videos for the love of composing, the community, the developers, fellow composers, anyone who wants to listen to us. So yeah, please hit that subscribe button. Until next time, keep making that beautiful music.